What is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video. Boy, I feel vindicated. Don't you like it when somebody that you like confirms what you have been saying since 2022? I feel like doing what CM Punk did in that interview and pointing the wink finger at them as well. You know what I mean? So CM Punk did an interview a couple of days ago for the first time in a long time. It's really, I think it's been the first interview he's done since before the media scrum back in 2022. Literally, he never did any interviews when he came back in 2023 to AEW. So this has been his first real interview since before the media scrum, all the way back in 2022. And he did an interview, and he basically said pretty much everything other than the stuff about what happened after he won the AEW title, or after the press conference, after the media scrum, press conference or whatever, that whole incident that happened after he got off the podium, which he also said was an NDA, and that's why he couldn't talk about it. Which is fine, whatever, because I already know what happened. I know what actually happened, not the bullshit that's been reported by con man Dave Meltzer and some other false journalists. Anyways, so you really think I wasn't going to just, not make a video about this? Now, granted, I have been backed up on YouTube videos. Yes, I got a lot of stuff going on behind closed doors outside of my YouTube life, social media life, whatever. And that's why I haven't. As a matter of fact, there's a ton of videos I haven't got to yet that I want to make that I haven't made yet. So stay tuned for them. But anyways, CM Punk just confirmed, 2 days ago when the interview happened, confirmed to me and to everybody outside of the biased AEW fanboys who were just blind sheeps at this point, that Tony Khan is not a boss. And by the way, before anybody says, oh, I'm just following what CM Punk said, motherfuckers, go back to my videos from 2022 when I talked about CM Punk, and I said that Tony Khan was not a boss. As a matter of fact, I have a YouTube short video of flat out saying that Tony Khan was not a boss. Going back all the way in 2022, I said that. Now CM Punk in 2024 basically has confirmed what I said 2 years ago. And what everyone, with every intelligent fan, not some biased AEW fanboy, okay, has said. Okay? AEW, and that's the thing. CM Punk said, what CM Punk said about Tony Khan, and that AEW is not a business, and that all they care about is 5 stars and all this other shit, and that they're not a real business. They're not a real business. He's right, because the way the wrestling business is it's about making money, drawing tickets, getting the most attendance, and all Tony Khan. Don't get me wrong, having great matches is absolutely something important in wrestling. I'm not trying to say that having great matches isn't something important, but it is not the main factor. You want to know why it's not the main factor? Because is that going to get you the most money? And that is what Punk is saying. Punk is saying, yes, you have to have good matches, you have to have great matches, but you also have to fill the house. You have to sell out the house. AEW has not been able to sell out the house since CM Punk got not really fired, but did get fired. We'll get to that in a second. Filled the house, okay? And if you can't fill the house, then we're not in the same business. And he's right when he said that. He is exactly right. He is exactly right. You ask any promoter, you ask any territory promoter that's still alive today, okay, because all of them are out of business, okay, you ask any of them, they will tell you that the most important thing about the wrestling business is filling the fucking house, okay? Selling tickets, getting the merchandise. Obviously, the merchandise wasn't a big thing in the territory days, but compared to now, but it is a huge factor today. Actually, scratch it. No, even in the territory days, merch was important. It just wasn't as prevalent as it is today. There was merch back then. It's just that the merch was not like it is today. The merch is like everything now today. But you get the point. Punk basically has said, and you go watch the interview. It's a great interview by a real journalist, by the way. Yeah. He doesn't even. He also covers MMA too, which is why it's on an MMA thing. But yeah, he's much better than all these goddamn wrestling journalists. That's for damn sure. Supposed wrestling journalists that they got going on here, but no. So CM Punk, he talks about the whole thing at All Out. All right, he talked about a bunch of stuff, but we're going to just talk about like the stuff about AEW at this point. Because this has been the bullshit that's been going on for 2 years about the speculations and stuff like this. First and foremost, I want to just say right now to all these idiots that are still trying to hate on CM Punk for telling his side, where's the consistency? Y'all fucking were like, oh, Tony Khan's right. Oh, the Young Bucks are right. Oh, Kenny Omega's right. They all did their fucking interviews. Oh, they did all their fucking interviews and got to say all their dumb lie bullshit, right? They got to do that. But when CM Punk tells his fucking side of the story, oh no, he's lying. Fuck you. You don't know shit, okay? Okay. CM Punk had every right to give his side of the story because he hadn't talked about it. He chose not to talk about it. He could have talked about it any time, but he chose not to. Okay? Fucking bullshit hypocrites. So CM Punk tells his side of the story about AEW. And he basically says that Jack Perry, was told no by like 8 different executives, okay, to not use the real glass spot on a rental car on Collision, okay, and which we already knew about this from the dirt sheets, but people still want to deny that this happened, okay. CM Punk fucking then was told or was asked if he could then buy. I think it was Tony Schiavone that said it. Tony Schiavone had said no to Jack Perry, and CM Punk, Tony Schiavone went up to CM Punk and asked if he could then tell Jack Perry no, which he did, and he had to explain it to him why he can't do it on Collision. So then we get to the pay-per-view, we get to All In or whatever, All In, right, in Wembley Stadium, and on the pre-show, Jack Perry did what he did. Real glass, that's stupid bullshit, okay? And goes to the back. CM Punk tells Tony Khan to handle it or I'm going to handle it. And it's become very clear that once again, Tony Khan doesn't handle anything. He's not a boss. He's a mark, okay? And why is he a mark? Because he doesn't handle these situations. Say what you guys want to say about Vince McMahon and all his allegations. The one thing I can honestly say about Vince McMahon, he would never have allowed this shit to happen. Okay, he would never allow wrestlers, run roughshod against everyone and let it be a fucking free-for-all. Okay? And this is what Tony Khan does. He doesn't have leadership. He wants to be friends with everybody. Which, you can be friends with people, but you have to lay down the law and be a boss when you need to be a boss. Which fucking TK won't fucking do. And this is why CM Punk was so pissed off. This is why he was so pissed off at TK. Okay? So, CM Punk tells him, handle it or you're not going to like it the way I handle it. And so he confronts him. And basically, Jack Perry being a spoiled little brat, which even Bully Ray has confirmed that Jack Perry has maturity issues, okay? That he's a snot-nosed brat, okay? Which I would believe because Jack Perry, while he isn't his parents weren't wrestlers, his father was an actor. Like, his father was actually like a pretty good actor, okay? He's a pretty known actor in Hollywood or whatever. So, Jack Perry has a spoonful fed into him that he can just do whatever he wants because he's related to a famous person or whatever. That's what I'm getting at from this dude, okay? And CM Punk's like, old school mentality for wrestling. And he's like, no, we're not fucking doing that. And he told him, is like, why would you do that? Why would you do this internet shit? And he's like, well, why don't you do something about it? Basically provoking him. There's a scuffle, and then Punk ends up choking him out a little, as he states. So, this is what happened. Punk, after that, tells Tony Khan that he quits. But he does go out and does the match because, obviously, people were there for him. And so he goes out and does the match. It has a classic match with Samoa Joe. Successfully defends the title. And then shortly after that, not too long, they took pictures together after the match. So, obviously, he was in the building. Because we do have a picture with Punk, the referee, and Samoa Joe. So we do know that he was backstage after the match was over, after he walked back through the curtain. So he was there for a while. Punk said a couple matches after his match, the security guard asked him, if he would, not leave, but they were kind of, recommending it. Punk ultimately did leave, even though he didn't need to leave. Punk said he quit. Which was my theory this whole time. My theory this whole time was that CM Punk quit, and because he quit, that allowed Tony Khan to fire him, or claim that he fired him. And he claimed that he fired him with cause. But that's only because Punk quit. Punk quit. And then Tony Khan decided to fire him with cause with the contract. Because he's under contract, so even though he quits, he's still under contract. It's like the same thing with WWE back in early 2014. He quit WWE, but he was still under contract with WWE for several months after, because they tried to get him back for the first couple of weeks. And then they realized he wasn't coming back. So then they fired him on his wedding day. I think it was in June or whatever. Like 5 months after he left in January or end of January. So he was still under contract. In AEW, he still had a year left on his contract. So they could have kept him under contract while he was home, like WWE did, or they could have just fired him, which is what they did. They terminated his contract. But CM Punk paints another picture that TK was not fearful of his life or whatever. And he was not fearful of his life, which I do believe that TK was not fearful for his life, that was all bullshit. Also, apparently, Tony Khan in a recent call with Ring of Honor or whatever, he claimed that he decided he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't answer anything about CM Punk. He's like, he won't answer anything, which pisses people off even more. He never, takes the responsibility to say, hey, this is what happened. And if he refuses to that, well, then why should I not believe what CM Punk said wasn't the truth? If this motherfucker, if Tony Khan isn't willing to come up there on the podium and show me that he's a goddamn boss and say, hey, this is what happened, because there's no NDAs. There's no fucking NDAs, in place for this, For the media scrum for All Out from 2022, there was a NDA. There's no NDA for the All In pay-per-view, So Tony Khan could talk about it, but he chooses not to. He still wants to stick with the bullshit story that, I was fearful of my life, when he wasn't. He was never in danger. This was just a power play to pretend that to avoid litigation, with CM Punk, which Punk wasn't going to sue him anyways, because he had guaranteed money with him anyways, and he got a fucking he didn't have a no compete clause when he got terminated from his contract because of the way his contract was structured. AEW's contracts are structured differently than WWE's, especially the big stars. The big stars, they have more freedom. So if that was WWE, he would have probably had a 1-year no-compete clause or something like that, because as a matter of fact, it's because of CM Punk why they would do that, because after CM Punk quit back in 2014, WWE created new contracts where if they quit under those circumstances where they quit while they're booked on a show or something like that, and they fire you for that you can have a no-compete clause for up to a year. And that was because of CM Punk. They started that, or at least Vince McMahon did. Maybe they changed it now, but after the aftermath of when Punk did that in 2014, they started that whole thing. But with AEW, they didn't have that. So when they fired Punk, he had no obligation to not sign with anybody. He was a free agent instantly. They didn't have those shield guards. I'm sure Tony Khan's gonna have it now going forward. I mean, if he doesn't, then he's even a bigger not good boss as I originally thought he was. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, that whole interview was really eye-opening. And, I mean, it sucks because, and I know people are going to still say that I'm lying about this, but I'm not. I want to see AEW succeed, but they have to want to succeed. I was watching AEW when it first started, when Cody was there and all those other guys were there. And after the whole shit that they did with CM Punk, I just lost interest in it. I mean, I watch still it here and there, but I don't like what they're doing. I don't like the Young Bucks anymore because of the shit that they did with Punk, obviously. Never had an issue with the Young Bucks until they did the shit with CM Punk. I even seen them at the Nickel City convention years ago. I think it was either 2018 or 2017. They were at Nickel City Con or whatever. Yeah, I had no issues with that's another thing. I never had an issue with the Young Bucks until they did the bullshit with CM Punk. When they, attacked him or whatever, or did their little shit. The same thing with fucking Kenny and all these, who's the other clown? Hangman Adam Page. Oh, yeah, let's get to the Hangman Adam Page shit. Let's get to fucking cowboy shit. Or, I'm sorry, how about cowboy dog shit, as I like to call it. Because that's what he is, okay? The dude frickin' was unprofessional. He, what Punk said was he planned out a promo for both of them. And, Hangman decided to go off script and do his own thing. And Punk was pissed because he ruined perfectly good TV time and potentially jeopardized the first $1 million gate, which they had never had up to that point. Punk was the first person, and still to this day, Punk is the only person who legitimately can draw $1 million gate for that company. Okay? He's the only person. He's the only person that's drawn for them. Edge hasn't drawn because he can't use his goddamn name. All right, he uses his real name, and it's not working. Which I don't know why they didn't just try to do Edge Copeland or something like that. That's what I suggested. I said, why can't he just call himself Edge Copeland? No, how? It's just a word. It's just a word, man. It's a word. Okay? It is a word. Okay? If you add a last name to it, I think he could have gotten away with it. I don't know. But I think he should have tried. I think Edge should have tried to get some type of rights to his name or similar, like Edge Copeland or Adam Edge or something like that. They should have done something like that. I mean, because everyone knows him as Edge. That's what people want to call him. They want to call him Edge. They don't want to call him Copeland. They don't want to call him Adam Copeland. All right, that's his real name, but, I don't want to call CM Punk Phillip Brooks. I want to call him CM Punk, okay? I don't want to call him Edge. Or I don't want to call him Adam Copeland. I want to call him Edge. He's Edge, okay? And, by the way, the stuff that they've been doing with Edge has been terrible, by the way, okay? Like, why isn't Edge going for the world title? That's another thing. Why isn't Edge going for the world title? Why isn't Edge going for the world title? Like, he is the guy from WWE. Why is he not going for the champ? Like, this is what I don't understand what AEW's business. Like, Daniel Bryan isn't going for the title. Fucking, like, Edge isn't going for the, like, why aren't these guys going for the title? Like, they're not getting money. I mean, if you want to create new stars, yes, you got to create new stars, but you have to create new stars by having these guys be built up and beat the established guys. And they're not doing that. Like, why are these, like, they did it with CM Punk because CM Punk was drawing, but that's the problem. And they're losing their drawing power from that. Daniel Bryan, when he came in, okay, when Daniel Bryan came in, or Bryan Danielson, like, when he came into AEW, he had just main evented a WrestleMania. Okay, he had just main evented WrestleMania for the title. He didn't win, but he was in the main event. Why was he not elevated in AEW? Why did he not immediately go right for the title? Like, immediately win that title. Like, if I had been booking AEW at that time, when Daniel Bryan had just main evented a WrestleMania, I would have had him win that title from Hangman. I would have had him win that fucking title. Because it doesn't do anything with Hangman. Because Hangman wasn't drawing at that point. He needed more build time. Okay? I would have given that to Daniel Bryan. And then I would have had him beat somebody, whether it be an MJF or something like that. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand their logic. Like, they don't put any... They pay so much money for these top stars, but yet they don't want to put the title on them. They put the TNT title on Edge, okay? And yes, I'm calling him Edge. I'm not calling him Adam Copeland, okay? I'm calling him fucking Edge, okay? I don't give a fuck, okay? Edge is the TNT champion, okay? Why is he not going for the world? Why is Christian not going for the world? And Christian has done some of his best fucking work on AEW, with the whole dad thing or whatever. Okay, why the hell is he not going for the title? Like, you got these guys that are so over right now, and these are the guys that are drawing, and you're not putting the title on these guys, okay? Samoa Joe's doing great. Don't get me wrong. I like Samoa Joe. But some of these other guys, it's just big missed opportunities, in my opinion. Um, you know, but we're getting off topic. I'm just saying, like, this is, again, AEW just doesn't make sense. And supposedly they're paying $13 million for Okada, which, by the way, unless you're a New Japan fan or you're someone that just watches any type of wrestling, you're not going to know who Okada is. Okay? Not many people in North America know who Okada is. Okay? I hate to break that to you. Not many people do. And a lot of people that watch just AEW and WWE probably have no fucking idea who he is. Okay? And that's not a diss at Okada because I know he's a good wrestler, but that's just the fact of the matter. And the fact that you paid him $13 million makes no fucking sense in my opinion. Okay, I'm sorry. That was way overkill. He is I don't even know if I don't even know how I don't know how much Cody is making right now in WWE, but I know he's one of the top stars. Like, he's one of the top stars, but he's one of the top paid stars too. And I don't even think Cody's making them. I don't even think Roman's making that much. Like, how much is Roman making? Because I know Roman's got to be making the most right now for a contract. Like, I heard $13 million. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now. I mean, if he's making that kind of much, man, some of the top stars from WWE got to start renegotiating with Endeavor at this point, if that's the case. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense at this point. Then again, we did have WCW back in the day that overpaid people, so, I mean, I guess I can't be too surprising at this point, but still. But nonetheless, CM Punk, gets into it. He tells it, and he basically says that Tony Khan is a clown. He's a clown. He doesn't handle situations. He doesn't handle things that need to be handled. He tried to get things handled before the media scrum, and they didn't get handled. So, what can I say? This is what Punk said. It's about time that Punk finally cleared the air. And hopefully this is closure, but we're never going to have true closure because Tony Khan won't open his big fat mouth about the truth. He won't, and that's the unfortunate thing. In closing, I am happy that CM Punk is back in WWE. I'm happy that he's wrestling still. Well, obviously he's not wrestling right now because he's got the injury, but once he does come back, I will be very, very excited even more. That's about it. Comment, rate, if you like this video, videos, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell for all this content. Thank you. And that's about it. I am the Ultimate Goku. Peace.